So much goes into the first impression you have with a merchant. Jordan Belfort once said that the first 4 seconds is all it takes for a prospect to make their first impression of you. Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Davron Karimov, and if you aren't familiar with who I am, I'm a 23-year-old merchant cash advance broker living here in Miami, Florida, and I make videos here on YouTube about cash advance and training on things I learned about cash advance. In this video, I'm going to be talking about scripts and why they're so important and how to up your game when you're talking to a potential prospect for the first time, and how to really grab their attention and get them to do what you want them to do, which is to close the deal, right? So we're going to be talking about how to close more deals in this video. Before we begin, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. If you're a business owner that's serious about getting cash for your business, go to the link funderhunt.co/Davron, funderhunt.co/Davron, to see what you can get approved for. All right, so I remember back when I started in cash advance, this was back in New York. And on my first day of training, they brought me a script. And we kind of went over the importance of a script and why it's important to have that first impression. And I remember going through that script and reading it word for word, and everybody around me was telling me about how important that script was. And I've been to a sales job before, and I kind of knew what it was. But still to this day, I'm still going over the scripts and still reviewing them and making sure they're polished and all that. The people that really were persistent and consistent with their pitch, and they were saying it just like the way that we wanted them to say it to, and really the ones that took in the training were the ones that got the furthest. Going back to my first day of training, I was basically given a phone, a dialer just that would ring out phone numbers, and a piece of paper with the script. Another reason why it's so important is you got to keep in mind that merchant cash advance is a relatively new industry. It only came around in the past 15 years or so after the 2008 recession hit, when banks stopped lending money to small businesses. That's pretty much the reason why this industry exists today. So it's very new. You want to sound, just basic for me is I always try to sound professional when I'm on the phone. Calm, enthusiastic. I try not to make it sound like I'm a robot or it's my first day at the job. And you could tell immediately when it's someone's first day at the job, or maybe they're just having a bad day, and they came in that day to work that day with a bad attitude, and that's why they don't sound right. But that's just some of the basics that I would say. Now, when I'm getting on the phone with a merchant, I typically start out with a greeting. Greet them by their first name. Hey, Bob. Hey, Joe. If I can't pronounce their first name, then I just go by their last name. Hey, Mr. Smith. It's Davron from Funderhunt. So my pitch usually goes something like this. Hey, it's Davron with Funderhunt. How are you today? Good. Did you get the additional capital you were looking for, or are you in the market? That's it. That's really it. Super simple. It just comes down to that question. A majority of business owners that I talk to are people that have already had experience with our type of product, and they know what a cash advance is, and they know exactly what they're getting into. So from when I get on the phone with them and I ask them that question, there's only going to be one of two answers. They're going to be yes, they got the funding they were looking for, or no, they didn't. Right? And so we could go from there. And you could even simplify this further, and you could just be like, hey, hey Bob, did you get the cash you were looking for the business? Just simple. Sometimes they're going to say, hey, I don't remember applying for any capital. Well, that's okay. But I know you were looking into it at one point. So what's going on? What's changed? Are you still in the market? Could you use additional capital? So that's where we go from there. If they say something like, yeah, I already got funded. We're good, thanks. Well, I could get you another 50,000 in your account tomorrow. You're telling me you can't use the extra cash and put it to work, business owner? That's where I would go with that. Bottom line, it ultimately comes down to, no matter what they say, it ultimately comes down to the same thing. If I could get you additional cash at rates and terms that make sense, how much could you use today? How much could you use right now? And it just always comes back to that. Once I found somebody that is needing the cash, from there I typically go to 3 questions. How much do you need? When do you need it? And the first one is, do you need money? But they already answered yes to that one. So that's the 3 questions I go into. When do you need it? It's very important because we're looking for people that could use the cash fast. People that take our capital, and remember this, guys, people that take our capital are people that need it fast. That's the people that take the capital. They're taking it because they need it now. Okay, and then how much do you need? I asked this question because typically you're going to get people about a month's worth of their revenue, unless they're doing they have a really, really good business. And by good business, I mean they're doing at least $1 million a year in revenue. They got great deposits, great balances in their accounts. Their credit is not terrible; it's decent. That's where we can start to really get flexible. But those are really on those really good files. If you have a really good file, that's when we could start being creative and start getting flexible with our terms. But for the most part, if you're talking to somebody that's never done this before, he doesn't know what a cash advance is, you're probably going to get him about a month's worth of his revenue. Of course, that could change. Maybe if he has 4 cash advances out already, he's taking out 4 loans. Obviously that's going to change. So I don't want you to. Don't go and blame me and say, hey, Davron, you told me I could promise this guy that I could get him $20K, but that's not what I could get him, and now the guy is mad at me, the business owner's mad at me. No, don't say that. I didn't promise anything. I'm just saying, for a general good rule of thumb, that's what it's going to be looking like. So, for example, if you have a guy that's looking for $100,000, but he's only bringing in $10,000 a month to his company, that's not going to be a good fit. So in these types of situations, I still stay professional and it's just say, hey, business owner, I could get you probably around 15,000. Would that work for you? And if they say yes or no, and then we move on from there. And the last one, which is when do you need it? We talked about that already. People that take this cash are taking it because they need it right away. All right, that's it for the video. Once again, if you are new to the channel, subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Like this video and leave me a comment with a question, and I'll go ahead and pick some of these comments and answer them in my next video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.